Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Mid-South Wrestling Review Series for June the 5th, 1982. And June is a big month for the area. Paul Ellering discusses his love of working with kids in a relatively flat opening promo. And then Dick Murdoch and the Turk are here. This particular episode, kind of inconsequential, although in comparison to what comes in a couple of weeks, you can understand why. Anyway, Murdoch has been around for quite a while here in the area, several months anyway, and is a pretty big fan favorite for the area. You know, all American military decorated fellow. At least that's the portrayal. I don't know if he actually was in the military, but a bit of a brawler. You know, hit some shots, and it's very clear that he doesn't want to waste any motion. Turk gets him down with an armbar, rakes across the eyes, tries to cheat, tries to do everything he possibly can to get an advantage when he can. Murdoch manages to stay on the arm and continues to wrench the arm when necessary. And shots there. Irish whip and a I guess you'd say elbow slash palm heel strike because it's funny. Turk manages to hit his opponent and his hand pops open at an inopportune time. Kick on the shoulder by his opponent or by Murdoch. Murdoch then hooks him for the brain buster, and we get a victory for Mr. Murdoch. Then we move to Randy Bass, what a name, anyway, versus Ted DiBiase. DiBiase is a couple of weeks away from having his return match for the North American Championship. DiBiase with some really basic ride time moves and tries to get a quick pin. Of course, DiBiase's second generation, his stepfather, Iron Mike DiBiase, and his mother, both were professional wrestlers, and it shows here that he's got it in his blood. Um, and he's kind of a big deal here in Mid-South and remains that until he leaves for the World Wrestling Federation in '87. I don't know if he's here the entire time, but I think he's here for the majority of that time. Anyway, DiBiase is such a major player in that area. We see him get back to his feet. You know, Irish whip and a big power slam by DiBiase. DiBiase 1, 2, 3, and gets a victory as the former champion is ready. Billy Starr and Dr. Death Steve Williams is up next, and Williams debuted on television last week. Pretty major debut when you think about the historical impact of Dr. Death Steve Williams, both to the American market as well as the Japanese, even more the Japanese. I think Williams opened up a whole bunch of opportunities for gaijin talent in Japan, especially his role in Japan in the early 90s. If you've never seen that stuff, go out of your way. Order New Japan World. It's less than $10 a month most months and worth taking a look at. Anyway, Irish or hammerlocks there. Tosses, front face tosses by Williams. Williams really hasn't found his, I guess you'd say, professional wrestling selling faces yet. But what he has is two things: good technique and brute power. And those are things that are bound to make any fan happy. And then, of course, a third, which is useful, is that's a promoter that's very much a big fan of yours. Big slam, almost actually a release body slam by Williams, and gets a few forearms on the ropes. Notice he measures the forearms like it matters, and then a bear hug by Dr. Death Steve Williams. Williams doesn't waste any motion unless he absolutely has to in there. Hard shots, and again, he's not wasting any motion with the forearms or any other offensive maneuver he takes on. And again, we kind of see a bit of a choke in the corner by Starr. Starr doesn't have a prayer though when it comes to facing off with Dr. Death. Dr. Death keeps coming, and there is no way that you're going to get in his way. Big Beal out of the corner, 3-point stance tackle, and a chop block of the knee, and again, and you see Billy start backing up like he's selling, but you gotta wonder, do you really want to be in there with that big man? Big Oklahoma style stampede, hanging power slam by Doc to get the victory. Rick Hangman Harris and Mike Hudspeth is next. Hangman Harris, of course, otherwise known as Black Bart in the later version of wrestling life, but here he is debuting and trying to find his way. And it takes a little more than he bargained for, I think. But anyway, we move into that match, and Harris comes out with the hangman's noose, the cowboy hat, the whole deal. Again, brought in by Skandor Akbar. Just about any heel that needs a manager is brought in by Akbar at this point in 1982. Harris doesn't really have a very robust offense, punches, kicks, elbows, and the like. But again, I don't know how experienced he is. I'm thinking this is his first major territory at the time, and shots to the top of the head there, and elbows and the like, and they seem to have something for him, but they don't really know what. Stun gun slash snake eyes type maneuver over the top strand of rope for him, and then we see some choking by Harris as well. It is clear that they don't want to waste any motion. Harris does get a victory after a hangman's type backbreaker type maneuver. The opponent submits relatively handily. Junkyard Dog against Bob Roop is your next match, which is a pretty big match. Of course, Roop, your North American champion, has been for a few months now, and Roop, not a guy who at this point thinks he's losing the championship, although he does lose it within this calendar month for those interested. So stay with us if you want to learn the how and the why. The reason I'm doing this whole old school series is because there's so many fans that, you're 20 years old, you're 25 years old, you have no sense of history of what good wrestling is or what wrestling was back in the days when guys could draw money on more than just fat television contracts. So many people don't have that sense. Anyway, that's why we're doing this. A big slam off the top by the dog, and the dog manages a body slam, and Roop rolls to the outside. Hard shot by the dog. Dog manages to catch him under the chin, and no apologies. Roop is looking for an opening and starts working on the I guess you'd say the arm of the dog. Dog gets a foot up, uses it to catapult his man pretty simply, and gets an advantage, gains an advantage for a little while anyway. Maybe not forever, but that's not what he was looking for. Anyway, Dog is probably, I would say, maybe he and DiBiase, your number one baby faces. They don't really acknowledge a friendship until the angle they do in a couple of weeks here, but I guess we assume they're friends. Anyway, hard shot by the Junkyard Dog and a Russian leg sweep. That's a weird move for the dog. I remember seeing that and going, I need to see that again. Anyway, Dog sends him off the ropes and into the ropes. Big thump slam, and again, one-man gang rushes the ring, pulls the dog out. The gang basically saves Rupp's title, tosses the ref to the side. Dog is getting attacked pretty aggressively here, and ref goes down. Rupp goes to the outside, makes it look like he's got a shot at winning. Referee, seeing the Junkyard Dog choke out Rupp and trying to pull the dog off, there's a non-finish, and Rupp wins via disqualification, but he is none the good for the wear. Grappler and the Assassin are up next. Interesting double masked team against Jesse Barr and Coco Samoa. So they are a makeshift team that works for the moment anyway. Of course, the Grappler big in Portland area. The Assassin big in Georgia, Carolinas area. Been around for a while. Of course, the Assassin's a tag team. The son of Tom Ernesto, Tom Ernesto, Tom Ernesto Jr. was here earlier in '82. I don't know where he disappeared off to. Anyway, big leg drop on the arm and a tag off to the Grappler from the Assassin. I don't know how the Assassin manages to get the tag as he doesn't reach his arm up for it, but anyway, logic flaw happens upon occasion, even in the good old days. Shoulder tackle, and again, short backbreaker by the Grappler. Grappler managing to try to stay on his opponent pretty aggressively. The Assassin comes in, tries to get a backbreaker, doesn't get what he wants on it, and then we go back to the Grappler being in the ring, the Assassin waiting on the outside relatively patiently. Big body slam by the Grappler and cut off by the masked team. I always liked masked wrestling teams. It just added some air of mystery or something to it. But anyway, opens up the forearm. Grappler manages to hang on to Jesse Barr. Jesse Barr takes the majority of the heat in the match. And the Grappler and the Assassin do get a quick, well, reasonably quick victory using some rather nefarious tactics. Then we go to Jim Starr and Iron Mike Sharp. Of course, Sharp has been around for a good bit of time in the area, and Sharp only has a few minutes of time. Hangs on to a headlock. Starr rolls him to the back, tries to get a quick victory, doesn't get it, and gets kind of frustrated. Sharp manages to stay up, and they do some basics, on feet grappling, nothing major. Short knee lift by Sharp, who manages to take his opponent to the buckle, tries to get every advantage he can, and does not get everything he wants on it. Big body slam by Sharp, goes for the pin, does not get the victory right off the bat, and they actually run out of time before there is a finish to the match. We will be back with more action right after this.